Hello, everybody. Everybody loves poetry, but nobody talks about what it takes to stand in it. This isn't about the page. This is about the moment your voice shakes, your chest tightens, and you still step in it and step up anyway. Welcome to Behind the Lines. I am Lovely. I am accompanied today by David T. Harris, spoken word artist and poet. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm just fine. I'm just fine. Today, I was just telling you a little bit ago that I am off today, and we're going to enjoy the rest of it.
I know that's right. Tell me a little bit about your poetry journey.
Tell you a little bit about. I mean, there's a lot to the poetry journey. The lessons learned, the performances, the writing. It's a lot of little lessons in all of that. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I'm still learning every day. Like is so much to learn, and then what you learn you can apply to life a lot of times. But I'm being I'm being a little vague. But I mean, where would you like me to start?
Basically, first time picking up the pen. First time poetry really spoke with you.
All right. Well, you know how when you were a kid, I mean, you're looking back on it now, but when you were a kid, there's certain things that you just liked about school. Like there was just certain something about it. Well, I always liked to write. No, and writing was probably one of the only subjects in school that I really gravitated to, other than art and PE. But writing. So yeah, I have a whole thing on writing. But I think I was always what I am. I just didn't recognize what I was until it was time for me to recognize what I was. And that is as overall, that's a creative, somebody who Um, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm a creative overall. I'm not just a poet. But I say all that to say, once I started writing, it gave me a voice that I didn't have before. So, so yeah, I kind of when I started writing, I just couldn't stop. And then the funny thing about it is, one of the earlier lessons in life, like as a kid, I used to have all these ideas, and my father would tell me to write them down, write these ideas down. And I never did. I was hard headed, but eventually I got it, right? And then I started writing things down. So, I mean, I could be anywhere and just have an idea. And once that idea hits me, I have to write it down. So, again, I could, I could be anywhere just writing, you know? So that's just one story, I guess, in regards to writing.
So tell me when your process went from just writing because to feed your soul, to writing to say, okay, I'm going to perform this.
All right. So on this journey, we're talking about this journey. I was going through a period of writer's block, whatever that is. I mean, I don't necessarily believe it now. I think that writer's block is just, you don't know what to write about it, but there's plenty to write about. So with me having writer's block, quote unquote, I reached out to a friend and I'm like, give me something to write about. Give me something to write about. And they gave me something to write about, and I was excited about it. And then once I was excited about it, I wanted to tell everybody. And then I wrote it. And then once I wrote it, and the way I wrote it was meant to be performed. And I didn't know anything about open mics at the time. All I knew was the pen and the pad. That's it. And then I found out that the public library where I was living had an open mic. It wasn't even an open mic, it was called a poetry reading. I'm like, yo, this is a good place to deliver this piece. And so, I did, and I got a standing ovation from it. And which gave me, and that was the first time I ever hit the mic. So when I got the standing ovation, now my ego is involved. And so now I'm chasing this applause now, you know what I mean? which never came because the poem wasn't about it. It was the poem was bigger than a poem. It was a production, right?
Right.
So I gave the audience a show, and so I took them from where they were to out there somewhere, right? And then brought them back to have a seat, and they loved it, and I loved that. I loved the response from it, you know. So it became like, yo, yeah, I'm chasing this applause, and so that's I don't do that so much now, but that's when my ego was involved. Yeah, I mean, my ego is still involved, but not. I kind of have more control over myself than chasing somebody's love for me. Damn, ultimately, I think that my purpose is more important than any performance I do now. So just yeah, so just listen to my words. I might give you a show in the process, but you know, but showmanship is what it is. It's like, you know, I rather have like, I rather give somebody something with meaning. Um, Not to say that showmanship doesn't have meaning. It does. It's just what are we doing here? What are we doing? So hopefully I'm
So
talking to.
no, you're good. So do you ever find yourself writing for the stage, or do you just write and say, okay, this is okay to perform?
See that, and that poem in itself caused me to think about a lot of different things. And I can't tell you the poem because, yeah, I don't want to give it away. Um, but it's really it's my space, right? I'm sorry, cause that it's my space. When I get on that mic, it's mine, right? Although we share it, but for however long I'm going to be up there, and people are watching me, I can do whatever I want to do. And sure, I could take it to the stage and just recite some poetry. And I've done that. Just get up on the mic and, you know, spit, right? But there's so much more to me, right? So I'm not a dancer, so you're not gonna get me up there to dance. I'm not a singer, so I'm not gonna get up there and sing. But I do like performance, right? So I might talk about something that has nothing to do with me, put it in a poem, but people think it's me, but it's not. I'm
Okay.
inspired by a lot of different things, and that goes. I told you before, I'm a creative, so with being a creative, I'm also a photographer. I'm also a painter and a writer. And, as far as I'm working on a book right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a poetry book. It's a poetry book. Yeah, so it's called Note to Self. It's at the editor right now. I only want to talk about it till it's in hand. You know what I mean? But it's out there. Just let you know it's there. Um, I'm a visionary. You know what I'm saying? So, I think are you a part of the Diverse Versus community on Facebook?
I don't
You need
believe
to be. If you're not, you need to be. You need to be. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna get that. We're gonna take care of that.
okay.
But Diverse Versus isn't just a community online. Diverse Versus is kind of a movement that where I feel that artists should know who each other is. Whether you're a poet or whether you are a visual artist of some kind. I just think that artists, we think differently, right? And we with thinking differently, we're not locked into a system that wants to kind of tell us how we supposed to be, and I just want to help whoever, if I can, if especially if they have the right um temperament. I just want to help push them forward if I can. So the services that I do for myself, I can use to assist others, and I do, you know. But I also put on events. I definitely love to network with people. Um, so yeah, did I answer your question? I kind of went off in a different direction. I'm sorry.
For the most part, you got it. Got it.
I apologize.
That's okay. Um, being as though that you have all these other art forms that you love. How do you prioritize what you give your energy to in order to make things happen? Like you got the book, you got this, you got that. How do you divvy up and say this is where my focus is?
It's difficult. But what happened for me, what it is that I have a plan, right? Early in the year, I know I want to do this, this, and this. If I don't write it down on a calendar, I don't solidify the date. So as soon as I solidify the date, then it's locked in. I'm not taking it off that calendar. This is what it is. Unless something happens beyond my control, I'm going to do my best to hit that mark, right? So even though I might have 5 things that need to be on the calendar, I focus on one thing at a time. So if it's an event, right? I'm focused on that event. Right after that, I could have a feature. Right after that, I could have a photo shoot, right? So all of this, I'm like, I can't focus. I can't be the photographer when I have an event. I have to focus on what it takes to run the event. I can't focus on photography. So once I establish that and lock things in on a calendar, I take a notebook, and the notebook is specifically for all my ideas that I want to implement in this event or whatever it is. So if it's the event, that's how I approach the event. Then I have to switch hats, if you would, and think about the poetry. Okay, now I got this feature. What does the feature look like? Does the feature all these questions in regards to featuring, right? I can't think about event planning now. You know what I'm saying? So that's behind me. I can put that aside and focus on the next thing. So that's kind of how I approach all of it. And it's like you can't do everything. You won't get nothing done. So
Okay. So basically you're saying prioritize what's important to you or what's right in front of you
what's
at
starting
the
from
moment.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I know you said you're a showman. When you get on that stage, is yours. The mic is yours. Yes. Starting out, were there any jitters or nervousness?
Yep.
And how did you overcome that?
Okay. This is probably one of the first lessons you learn as somebody who's taking the stage to the mic. This is like the first thing. And that is once you cross that line, walking to that stage, once your name is called, you get up out of that chair and move toward that mic, there's no stopping it. You can't turn around at that point, right? So you gotta do this, right? And then when you get on that mic, you do it to the best of your ability. You know what I mean? So once you cross that line, it's no turning back. That's kind of how I look at it. So there was a period of time where every single time I get up, I got to cross that line, and it's still the same way now after 30 years. It doesn't really bother me for an open mic so much anymore because I look at an open mic as practice, right? So if I mess up, it is what it is, whereas before when I was younger in this, if I mess up on a mic, it would mess up my whole night. Like literally, I would have to go home after messing up on a mic, right? Because I took it so serious. And it is a serious thing. I ain't getting paid from it. So how serious, you know what I mean? But that's the showmanship of it. Like you want to do the best you possibly can do. And then you practice, you practice, and you get up there and you still mess up. Oh man, I'm distraught.
Oh, it takes it right out of me. It just
Don't worry about it. It's a practice phase. You know what I mean? Open mics is the opportunity for you to be seen for the very first time, right? And then open mics are the same. It's the same thing when it comes to um, getting up there for the very first time. You gotta know some things, right? In order, the next thing after that is you're gonna be featured. But it starts in the open mics. And so once the open mics hit, And then people start seeing you flawless, but it takes time. You gotta be patient with yourself, right? So once that just focus on that one poem. If it's one poem that you gotta focus on that one poem and do it the very best you can do it each and every single time. No matter if it's one person in the room or 1,000 people in the room.
With that being said, how much time do you dedicate to your showmanship?
Depends on okay, so now that I'm being featured more, it started last year. I don't know why. All of a sudden just people asked me to feature, right? So I went to this um what's the question again? I'm sorry.
How much time do you dedicate to your showmanship?
Thank you. I'm going all over the place. All right. So with being featured, each feature for me, I like it to be different, right? So if somebody's hiring me to be a feature, I'm asking questions like, what are you looking for? How many pieces you need? Blah, 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 blah. I'm asking questions. So I tailor my poetry around that. And if I have to write something, and if I have time to write something, if I can write something, like if I have 3 months to prepare, oh, I can write something. I can write a whole set specifically for this thing. Um, but what does that look like? How many pieces? All that stuff has to make sense. And so then first I want to put the pieces together. Let's say it's 3 pieces. We get 3 pieces. How do they string along? Sometimes I want to put music behind it or sound effects. You know what I'm saying? So all that's performance. Like, do I stand on the stage? Do I go in the crowd? All of this is planned. All of this is performance. You know what I mean? So all of that, you know, even down to what you wear. Like, what are you going to wear for this performance? All of that makes a difference. But none of that is important as much as your message and your voice.
Got you. How much would you say you practice?
I don't, you know what? I do practice. So if I know I have like right after the event, now I can rest for a day or two and then I go into poetry mode. So now that I know what I'm going to be doing, those 3 pieces, and I know the idea I have for them, now this is when practice comes in. Now, a lot of the poems that I know, I may not have them all committed to memory. A lot of them I do. I still have to practice all of them, for the feature because I mean, there's poems that I haven't done in over a year. Like I haven't even seen it in over a year. I'm still familiar with it because I've practiced it for so many times, but I have to sharpen it up. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get done, So yeah, and it just depends on how much time I have to prepare for the feature.
Gotcha.
Now, if I have a new poem and I want to see how it sounds, or I want people to kind of feel what it is, I'll write something and take it to an open mic and deliver it for the first time.
Okay. Is there a piece that hits every time you perform it?
Yep. Every time, every single time. But that's the poem, my very first poem ever. And so I'm not going to say the name of the poem,
Right.
but yeah, it hits every single time the same way, every single time, every single time.
Okay. Is there anything you were afraid to write in a piece and held back?
Yeah, yes and no. I wouldn't say I held back. I just didn't know how to, and I wanted to, and I didn't want to just say what I could say. There was more to say, and I couldn't say it because I couldn't put it together yet. Right? I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
So, but the only thing that would allow me to put it together was reading. So, um, once I was able to better understand what was going on, I was able to better formulate what I wanted to say.
When did poetry stop being something that you just wrote and turned into something that you needed?
The very first time I put pen to paper was the first time, because I was going through heartbreak at the time. So I didn't write always about heartbreak, but writing allowed me to be at peace. So it was feeling, it was me, um, kind of, finding my way through, you know what I'm saying, life, I guess. You know what I mean? And the way I write, it's not me just writing. It's really, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really me connecting with God. It's like us kind of, it's not kind of, it's co-writing. He's telling me, he's giving me, and I'm writing down, right? And my personality is in it too, but he's a lot of times he'll give me a direction to go into. He'll give me a dope line to write around. Um, a dope idea. You know what I'm saying? He'll communicate with me through my poetry, and I've never met anybody that's has ever said that. So I hope I don't sound like I'm crazy, but I'm not. Um, I just know that without him, I would not be a writer. Without God, I would not be a poet. Without God, I wouldn't be a creative. And it's like I'm the vessel. I'm like, who am I to create anything? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. When you do write, when you sit down to write, is there some type of process that you go through? Do you create a certain type of environment or do you just wing it?
Um, I mostly write at night.
Mhm.
But I don't exclusively write at night. I can write anywhere. Ambiance does play a part. Like I can go to a coffee shop and sip on some coffee and people watch, and next thing you know, I'm writing. Um, I love water, so I like to be around water. I love trees. I love to be under a tree somewhere. So all of those things will kind of encourage me to write. Um, but at night, as soon as the sun comes down, I can turn on my music. You know what music I'm talking about. Whatever that is, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Turn on my music. And I mean, it could be loud, but it could be soft. It depends on what my mood is. The next thing I know, I'm in my zone. And I can be there for a little while. So yeah.
So I'm about to play something, and then I'll come back with a question.
And imagine yourself in a place so sweet that you can taste each word I speak. I repeat my flow only so you'll receive a healthy heap of my thoughts. My thoughts. My thoughts. I repeat my flow so if you get lost in my world, you'll hear an echo. Follow the trail of letters I left behind. I repeat to remind you I am still with you. This is my world. So welcome. Welcome to my world where everything has potential to bloom, and even bloom has beautiful hues of blues.
Okay, I love that line so much.
Okay.
Where did that come from? Did you know that that was going to hit when you wrote it?
No, I didn't. I wrote that first of all 20 some years ago. Right. And that's one of those pieces I just know. Right. And if I have an open mic to go to, and it's a brand new crowd, I can hit them with that because I know that piece. Right. But no, I don't remember writing that piece. That was so long ago. And I don't remember like the pieces, the snippets of, but remember I was telling you, like, like God gives me some dope lines sometimes. Like it's not me. I'm like, that might have been one of those times that God gave me that dope line. But I never looked at it. I mean, you said it. It was the first time I ever heard somebody say it was a dope line. But yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. One more.
Oh man.
The time to continue to unify. You see, our future is the suture that mends the hurt of our past. Imagine it at last, finally able to look toward the vast existence which is directly in front of us, above us, beneath us, and in us deep. And I have to get it out to keep it. Hence, the pen, the paper, and the mic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is it writing that?
Okay.
Do you even remember that?
That's another one of those older pieces. I wrote that one right after the one before. Literally, like, I would say a month afterwards. No, maybe a little bit longer. But I think, I don't remember. It was 20 years ago. Who cares? But it's the same type of poem, right? So it's kind of whimsical. It's kind of dream. You listening, you close your eyes and take you on a journey out there somewhere, right? For both pieces. And so this is how I string my poetry together. So I know I can always string those two pieces together for a feature, right? And especially if it's a feature that's not even close to where I normally run around. Like, so if it's a brand new audience, I can throw those two together and put together maybe another piece. And now I got a decent feature. And something I've been doing for a little while, something I can talk about. I'm not afraid of, you know what I mean? So I eliminate all that nerve, of, having to cross that line. Right. So now I'm like, okay, I can input my ego now because, I want to do a good performance now. Right. So now I don't have to worry about, you still, if it's a new crowd, it's always a little nerve wracking, but then that's the fun part. Like, I get to show somebody new what I can do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Talk too much. I talk too much.
For you, is the poet on stage very different from off stage?
Say that one more time.
Is the poet that you are on stage different from the version of you off stage?
No, I'm pretty much the same dude. I'm not trying to be something, you know what I mean? I'm a poet, and with me being a poet, I'm an artist all the way around. So I kind of move like that in life. Like, I don't really see eye to eye with most people. I think they're crazy, I have compassion for people as I, walk past and see that they're struggling. You know what I'm saying? I go to work just like anybody else. You know what I mean? Although that one day I want to live on my gifts. I'm telling y'all that right now. Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable. But God said, what does God say? What God said? No gift, make room for you. I mean, there's more to it than that. But that's what the word said.
That's what the word says, and we're standing on it.
Yeah, we standing on that, boy. Yes, we are. And we're gonna remind God, we in your will. Oh, don't get me scared. But yeah, it's I try to be authentically me, in whatever hat I wear. So right now I'm not in a poetry state of mind because I don't have any features coming up anytime. So I'm just coming off of an event a week and a half ago. So I'm in a good place. I'm coming off a very successful event, and I'm networking. I'm talking about the event, talking to people about what they thought about it. So I'm kind of on the other end of it. And so I'm going to transition into, okay, what's next? I got to do something next. Right now I'm kind of chilling, and I do have some ideas and I'm writing them down, but I don't have anything going on to manifest into the world. So, so that's what's next. I got to figure out what it is and put it on the calendar.
Okay.
So yeah. Yeah.
2 more questions.
Hmm.
1, what piece of advice would you give a brand new poet and spoken word artist?
There's so many. It's just a lot. You asked me a lot. What would the just
Top 3.
three? Okay, be yourself. That's number one, right? Go out there and explore what you are, what your voice is. Figure that out. And be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. I mean, of course, there'll be people that will influence you, but ultimately, it's your voice and your space, your time. You know what I mean? Be authentically you and give the world who you are, not an imitation of somebody else. You know what I mean? Or what somebody else wants you to be. Be yourself. That's your spot.
Lastly, what message do you overarchingly want to convey with your gifts?
If I can do it, you can do it. I just encourage you to do it because having a voice is very, very important. And just because you have a voice doesn't mean your voice is more important than somebody else's voice, but it does mean that your voice is important. You know, so I say speak. Somebody told me that today to speak, to continue to speak. And I encourage everybody else to speak, whatever that speaking looks like to you. So um diverse meaning unique, being yourself, being um you, right? Diverse. You're different than the next person. And versus means expression. What are you speaking on? And it doesn't necessarily mean words or poetry. It can be paint on a canvas or dance, you know, or you looking at a picture and taking the picture. Now, you know, we're talking about art overall. That's what diverse versus is all about. It's about art and artistic expression. And again, you know, I want to be able to assist people in creating what they want to create. So if you got a positive attitude, anybody, I don't care who it is, I want to help. You got a positive attitude. But if you coming at me like I owe you, I owe you something. Well, I mean, because some people's ego is crazy, crazy. Like I owe you. You in my world, and I owe you. So nah, I'm good with that. So I probably will opt out of working with people like that. Not no diss. I've learned that I have to have boundaries. And if it's a vision that's mine, you can't tell me no. You cannot tell me no in my vision, you know. So like who are you to tell me no when God tells me yes? So I will eliminate them out of my circle quick because and it had nothing to do with personal. I can't create with you, period.
Right. Right.
You know, so boundaries have to be set. And I hope people have learned something a little bit more about who I am as an artist overall. But a poet I am, although I do have a poem called I Am Not a Poet. And and that poem is basically saying that I'm an artist. It's just me saying I'm an artist.
All right. Thank you so much. And that's going to do it for us today on Behind the Lines. Until next time, keep writing.
Peace.